Hey, oh no, hello, sweetheart. How are you? That's a very good friend of mine from up in London. It's nice for you to join me. Well done, or join us, I should say. Thanks for joining us. We've been, myself and Sarah stay in touch because we always talk to each other about Mandalorian. We will be getting to that later. In the meantime, let's start with...
In case you're wondering, Phil's the hot one.
Let's spell that properly. Hang on a minute. Hide that. So, who the hell's Sunders? Snyder. And Snyder's Army of the Dead sequel is moving forward.
Snyder's.
Oh, bloody hell. I'll just leave it. I can't be bothered now.
You gave me all kinds of shit last week, and I know because I had to cut up the thing and listen to it. I
identify as dyslexic, which I am actually dyslexic, so that's fair enough.
I saw a great one this I interrupted. I saw a great one this week. It says motorcyclist who identifies as a bicyclist breaks all the cycling records.
Well, you can identify as anything these days. We're identifying as professionals on a movie host and talk show this today. But yes, Snyder's Army of the Dead. Now, what did you make of the first one?
I listened to you guys tell me how shit it was and didn't bother. I'm just over zombie movies, quite frankly. I don't really... I mean, the genre, I feel like, has been played out to death. I feel like it peaked with Dawn of the Dead in 78.
Oh, right, okay, wow. I was going to say, the 2004, but no, not even
No, I mean, I like the 2004, okay, and, there was... I even liked, what was the one... the one with Woody Harrelson.
Double Tap. No. Oh,
Zombieland.
Zombieland, thank you. Double Tap.
I enjoyed the first one, okay. It was, a nice little comedy version of that. Warm Bodies was a pleasant diversion for 5 minutes, but for the most part, I just like, okay, zombies gonna kill you. Walking Dead really put a nail in its coffin, so to speak.
I couldn't even finish Walking Dead. I think I got halfway through about the second series, and it was just every episode was so unbelievably formulaic, and then it just hangs on a cliffhanger. So you go for next week, and
really deviated from the comic, which is a shame because I think that the comic is definitely better in my opinion. I think they went off in way too many directions.
I think it's much better when they do deviate from the original source material, as we've seen so often. Anyway, right, so the first one, it was kind of like a fun action movie. The photography was terrible because Snyder did his own director of photography, and he just kind of had to shoot everything in very deep depth of focus shots, which kind of work for like 30 seconds of the film, but the rest of the 2 hours they don't. But it's still, to me, it was just the silly things like the ending, how the tactical nuclear missile which kills all the zombies and collapses a building, and yet somehow a guy who was locked inside a massive safe can survive that and get out and get on a plane and travel away to Mexico.
Look, if Indiana Jones could survive in a fridge, I don't see why a safe wouldn't be good.
We do not speak of the Crystal Skull.
If there's one thing that movies have really destroyed is people's understanding of how weapons work, any kind of weapons.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's how you have Joe Biden saying dumb shit like they should just shoot him in the leg. They don't understand how any of this shit works. They don't even understand how any of this shit actually sounds. And so people get these weird ideas about how these things work, and it's like, I'm fine with it from a narrative entertainment standpoint to a certain extent. Yeah. I can live with it.
Yeah. But you can allow a little artistic license.
Just understand real life ain't like when the movies, please, before you start passing a bunch of dumb fuck laws.
Even more laws. But yeah, the sequel, because they did the prequel, didn't they? Which was, I can't even remember what it was called. God, do you know what? I'm drawing a complete blank on it because I didn't even watch it.
Of Army of the
prequel to
Dead?
Army of the Dead. They did it where he was. It was the bank safe guy, and Natalie Emmanuel was in it. That's all I can tell you about it. Because I had no interest in watching it, but it was about how he was a safe cracker and everything else. And then again, this sequel is just kind of it's the whole sort of money for old rope type scenario, really. That it's just kind of like, everybody loved the first one and we made lots of money, so let's just make another one and spin it out. And that's kind of what they do these days.
Zack Snyder is a real enigma to me. He had Dawn of the Dead, which was reasonably good, and then he made 300, which is, for the source material, perfectly stylized to what you would expect.
Yeah,
and then
it worked. It worked in that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's gone on and he made the superhero stuff, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the Snyder cut of Justice League. And I hear everybody going goo goo gaga over it, but that's mostly because, in my mind, the cuts that the studio put out and the other stuff of the DCU is such shit that at least you think like there's a vision here. There's like it's kind of like, to me, the difference between the prequels and the sequels of Star Wars. You've got the prequels. It's like, okay, the prequels are shit, but at least I see a man's idea and vision kind of laced in it.
Trying
I understand
to make an effort.
Yeah, like it still evokes some sort of passion in me in some ways, even though I really dislike the prequels. Whereas the sequels are just corporate sludge. I have no feelings for them. I don't care about them.
No, I have feelings for them.
I not anymore. I really don't. And in fact, now that Mandalorian, and we'll get to that, has gone so bad, I'm just like Star Wars has just kind of gone dead to me. I'm gonna have to just like, it's the first three and that's it, because everything else is bad. But my point is that Snyder had something in those, but I just think they were bad. I don't like the three DCEU Snyderverse stuff. I think it's terrible. But he somehow
he's not here.
Tough shit, Egg. You know my feelings on this. We've been through it.
Yeah.
But now he's making like Army of the Dead. He made that Sucker Punch. He's made some other stuff. I think his stuff is shit. He seems like a nice enough guy, and I don't think he's woke or anything like that, really. It's not like, a political thing. It's just, I just don't think he's very good. And he's been elevated because the DCEU nightmare of studios making even shittier stuff. They make Black Adam. They made, Shazam and all this stuff. They made, I guess Aquaman is total shit. They shelved Batgirl, and you start looking at like, well, at least this guy had some sort of vision. It must be really good. Is it because we're just so starved for something quality that we're looking at the Zack Snyder stuff like that's really good? Because it's not.
I do genuinely think that is happening quite a lot. That we are surrounded by so much just utter junk, utter garbage. The other day I sat down to watch something, and I was sort of kind of flicking through the new movies that were coming out. There was just nothing there. And I ended up watching Poltergeist 2 because it was kind of, that to me was the most interesting thing I could watch, because I can't remember if I'd ever seen it, actually. I don't think I had. But like you say, so when something comes out which is not absolutely terrible, we actually think, oh, that was all right. And because we're just, our standards are so unbelievably low these days with the creative desert that we're in.
I think that's part of it. I don't know. James Gunn's going to reboot the whole thing. We'll see. But
anyway,
thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.